Hollywood loves a left-field casting choice. In an industry criticized for its lack of originality, the trick casting that defies prediction is still counted as a go-to for a delightful surprise. But sometimes, they go too far. It seems the unexpected successes of casting against type have led to a culture of studios trying to force square pegs into round holes in the hope that they turn out to have been round all along. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and here are 10 castings for new movies that prove Hollywood has gone insane. Number 10. Iggy Pop as the Sandman. If you ever find yourself wondering what happened to horror icon Dario Argento, worry no more. He's been trying to make a film adaptation of the Sandman. You know, the 19th century German monster who stole the eyes of sleep-deprived children to feed to his own kids. On the moon. The weirdest part of the entire project, which was funded on Indiegogo successfully, is that Iggy Pop, the 70-year-old punk legend, is playing the villain. Will it work? Probably not, since it's a musician wanting to be an actor, and that rarely works. But then again, it's Dario Argento, so that may well be the whole point. Number 9. Dave Franco as Montgomery Clift. James Franco vehicle Zeroville should be one of the most interesting films coming out. But despite filming starting in 2014 and an initial release schedule of 2016, it's currently stagnated in completed purgatory, with the trailer seemingly removed from the internet. It'll follow a cinema obsessive with a tattoo of Montgomery Clift and Elizabeth Taylor on his head, who comes to Hollywood at a difficult time in 1969 to try and break into the industry. He's joined at one point by the ghost of Clift, one of the greatest actors of all time, who will be played by Dave Franco. Will it work? It might not even be released, so in that regard, no. And while Franco is an engaging screen presence sometimes, there's no way he's a convincing Clift in a million years. Number 8. Dolph Lundgren as King Nereus. Ever since Christopher Nolan cast Weird in the Dark Knight trilogy, the idea of casting 80s legends in comic book movies has been a bit of a thing. Most recently, Guardians of the Galaxy had Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. We know Sharon Stone has an MCU performance coming up, and it seems to be catching. The latest addition to that little subgenre of revivals is Dolph Lundgren, who is set to play King Nereus in Aquaman. Aside from the familiarity of his face, quite why he'd be cast when his acting is patchy at best is just baffling. Will it work? Well, he's never been a good actor, so he's going to look like a scene filler, glowering menacingly in the background. Number 7. Harry Styles as Alex. As already qualified, Christopher Nolan likes to throw in some left-field choices when it comes to deciding who he wants to cast alongside Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy, and none are more strange than One Direction singer Harry Styles. Prior to Dunkirk, his acting experience has been limited to playing himself in music videos, and yeah, everyone deserves a first chance, but will it work? The jury is firmly out. If there's a director capable of getting something out of Styles, it'll probably be Nolan, but the track record of pop stars showing up in films, aside from maybe Justin Timberlake, is a bit wonky wank wank. Number 6. Steve Carell as we don't know yet. After some less successful comedy vehicles around 10 years ago, Steve Carell has lately been rebranded as an Oscar-baiting character actor with some really intriguing films coming up, like the Dick Cheney biopic and Battle of the Sexes, as well as tentatively being down to appear in Minecraft the movie. Why? What on earth is he doing that for when he's working so hard on his profile through solid work? I mean, yeah, he has Despicable Me 3 coming out too, but he should be in a position now that this sort of thing is behind him. Number 5. Johnny Depp as Sherlock Gnomes. Quite why the world needs a Romeo and Juliet 2 remains to be seen. I suppose you could call it a shit film with a frustratingly clever pun name for wankers. Hashtag shit film with a frustratingly clever pun name for wankers. Now it's being extended seemingly only because Holmes rhymes with gnomes, making the whole Shakespearean link weird and jarring and just terrible. Anyway, you'd expect this sort of sequel to cast down on the first film for new characters, but Sherlock Gnomes has one Johnny Depp coming in as the titular legendary hero. That seems not only like an expensive hire, but also a silly one. Number 4. Paul Rudd as Cactus Bill. Nobody in their right mind will ever say that Paul Rudd isn't a glorious prince among men and one of the greatest actors currently working across the globe, but he's not a serious actor. His success trades mostly on an enduring, charming, everyman appeal and goofy, twinkle-eyed good guy comedy. To that end, it's remarkably odd that he was ever considered to play one of the 3 key roles in Duncan Jones's Moon sequel Mute, particularly as it's a sci-fi drama mystery inspired by Blade Runner. It just doesn't sound like his bag at all, so someone has either seen something in his delightful mugging to suggest he can play it straight, or they've gone entirely mad. Number 3. Jude Law as Dumbledore. Jude Law is a great actor, that much is proven by his eclectic CV, which has seen him sway confidently through romantic comedies, dramas, and character pieces with increasingly interesting scope. But one thing he's not is Jared Harris. Harris should have been cast to play the young Albus Dumbledore in the sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, since his father played the aged version in the first 2 Harry Potters. Even more importantly, Harris is far more like his father than Jude Law could ever be, and he's completely believable as the gruffer, more extreme wizard Dumbledore was as a young man. Will it work? It might, but it wouldn't work as well as if Jared Harris had been cast, which is precisely the point. Hire Jared Harris, hire him. He should be hired. Number 2. Will Smith as the Genie. He hasn't been cast yet, but Will Smith is strongly rumoured to be under consideration for the unenviable role of the Genie in Guy Ritchie's live-action adaptation of Aladdin. Will it work? Look, it could have been a lot worse, let's just say that. And when you think back to Smith's more comic early roles, he had a certain flair for silliness and vocal gymnastics that could work without directly competing with Robin Williams' performance. And that might just be the key. Number 1. Zac Efron as Ted Bundy. The world has already seen one Disney child star cast as a psychopathic mass murderer in Ross Lynch's casting as Jeffrey Dahmer. And now there's an even more surprising hire in the shape of Zac Efron's upcoming role as Ted Bundy. He's flirted with dark roles only briefly, like in The Paperboy, but even then he was the most morally pure of the entire cast. Admittedly, Bundy was a truly unique figure in serial killer circles given his reported charisma and popularity with friends, but casting a Mouse House graduate is beyond bold. And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the Whatculture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and thanks for watching. Oh, hello there. I'm billionaire philanthropist, not Bruce Wayne, and as you may have heard, we've actually started up a Whatculture comics channel. Oh, that's better. Where you can go for all the comics lists, all the comics news, and all the comics discussion. So go and subscribe to Whatculture Comics for loads of amazing comics coverage.